Oh baby, slap this one with Week 4's top billing tag. In one corner, a team that whomped its way to a 37-3 win. That's what happens in college games, right?
And one of those days for the Commanders fans.
It was a defensive beatdown that you don't see very often. Buffalo's D, though, now taking on a team that feasted on a 70 burger. That only happens in Madden.
In a game that almost defies description.
I would have yelled across the field if I was Mike McDaniel. Hey, Sean, not being disrespectful here, but we're here. You've given up 70 points, and the record, it's kind of right there. You get it, right?
Classy move.
Orchard Park is going to be nuts Sunday morning. Rod should play the commissioner card and demand they move this game to Sunday Night Football since Mr. Rogers is out. Oh well. Here comes Tua and Tyreek, hopefully with the Penguin. Waddle last week on the sidelines hurt, wondering, wait, have I been slowing us down?
And they're dancing early in South Florida.
Not really, but the league is more than on notice, being McDaniel's game plan without him was borderline genius. Tagovailoa went for over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, a rating over 155. He comes in off a cube day, got to the point where he was messing around and got himself a triple-double.
Oh, look at that! Shovel pass, A-Chain drives for 6.
Hill has 2 150-plus games now, 157 yards last week.
The electrifying Hill! Wow!
Tyreek scored too, but I doubt Buffalo safeties just leave him standing alone this week so they could double-team Jack Marius Theratrix. Not really, but relatively speaking.
The safety jumps it, which allows Tyreek Hill to get behind.
Hill simply isn't coverable by a single guy. Probably best to hit him early like New England was doing all game in Week 2 when they held him in check.
It is just almost impossible for Tua to try and squeeze one of these in.
Waddle's presence would make it much more difficult for Buffalo's secondary, who are all going to be tested. It'll be the most fun when Trey Day covers Hill. White had a pick last week, has held QBs to a sub-80 rating in 3 games.
What a play by White!
Slot cornerback Taron Johnson will be in on the action, only given up 38 yards so far this season. Cornerback Christian Benford, sub-90 rate allowed for the year. Safety Micah Hyde, sub-50 rate allowed. Had one of Buffalo's 4 INTs last week. That group comes in hot.
They're just interceptions waiting to happen.
Fins fans are like, bro, it was Sam Howell. Stop capping. If they were younger Fins fans. They held him to a low 40s rate as a result of all those picks.
And it's a pick 6!
Bills defense also has to pay attention to Miami's backs as pass catchers. Their 2 primary guys, 90 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns last week.
Dolphins gonna get tired doing those push-ups.
Tua's most recent air raid showing, also partially courtesy of his line dominating. No sacks taken, hit once on 26 dropbacks.
And this offensive line has played very well all season.
He should not expect that kind of time this week. Bills pass rushers had that random Beatles track playing in their earbuds Week 3. Should leave it in on repeat this week then. Number 9.
And down he goes again for the 9th sack of the day by the Buffalo defense.
9 sacks, 15 QB hits. It looked like a 7-year-old flag football game where the D-line just runs in on every play. Terrell Bernard, 2 sacks. Ed Oliver, 1.5. Greg Rousseau, 1. Leonard Floyd, 2. Miami's entire line, not just the tackles, have to be ready for battle.
I don't know how you're supposed to stop this.
And that battle will also involve them trying to open up lanes for their backs on the ground. You don't hit 70 points unless your ground game is blazing. Raheem Mostert had 60 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown, also scored 3 times along the ground, over 80 yards, over 6 a run. He's been a monster in back-to-back weeks.
Mostert has scored again.
Beanie would like you to put on earmuffs for this next one. This is going to be hodable, as Nasir would say. Dolphins don't need 2 chains, they just need a chain. Welcome to the NFL Spotlight, Devon. 2 bills and change, 11.3 a run, 2 rushing TDs to go along with his 2 receptions.
You can kiss him goodbye.
2 rush TDs to go along with his 2 receiving TDs. Have a day, dude.
I mean, now we're entering the absurd.
Yes.
Bills only faced 10 Brian Robinson runs before they gave up toking it, allowed 7 yards per carry to him. Play the run like that again, and it could be a long day.
Up the middle, and he's not going to get there.
What are the chances Buffalo can make this a fireworks show if needed? Their offense didn't have much to do last week. Josh Allen didn't have a great personal day. Sub 80 rating, under 7 yards per attempt, only 1 touchdown, got picked on a careless bomb attempt.
For Josh Allen, that's his 4th INT of the year.
He looked good against Vegas week 2, but has sandwiched sub 80 rate games around it. The only consistent aspect to their pass game so far, Stephon Diggs, over 100 yards in 2 of the 3 games, 65 plus in all 3, 111 yards last week.
These two have a great feel for each other.
He was targeted 12 times. No one else had 5 in week 3. Gabe Davis did catch a TD at least.
Looking deep for Davis. Touchdown!
But that was his only catch on 4 targets, so Miami's secondary will lock in on Stephon then. Diggs is fired from the slot 31% of snaps, so he's a mover and a shaker. When he's on the right side, that's beefy. Xavier Howard, sub 80 rating allowed for the year.
Body Devontae Parker out of there.
When he's out on the left, it's him and Eli Apple, low 80s rating allowed.
As Eli Apple retreated in coverage.
In the slot, Diggs will find Kader Kohu, high 90s rating allowed, but that's okay for nickel cornerbacks. Miami gave up a lot of yards to Russell Wilson in week 3, but only 1 touchdown, and they picked him off, held him to a low 80s rate.
Another turnover, the 3rd by the Broncos.
Pressuring Allen will be big. He's not a fan of it. The Dolphins only sacked Wilson once, but 12 QB hits is hefty.
What an incredible job by the Dolphins defense.
Allen and his O-line faced a pretty stacked front 4 last week, though. He wasn't sacked once, and he only got hit once.
This is the X factor right here for Josh Allen.
Bill's line would love to keep it going down low, too. James Cook hit at 6.5 a run in week 3, almost 100 yards after cracking that barrier week 2.
James Cook is silky, man.
Dolphins had no issues with Denver's runners or New England's in week 2.
What pursuit by the defense?
They did have lots of problems with the ground game week 1, though. The Miami Dolphins have never started a season 4-0, just like they never went 3-0 in 2022. They never went to a Super Bowl. They didn't draft Dan Marino either, I don't think. I expect to see lots of predictions and keys for this one. Tell everyone who takes the early lead in the AFC East. And don't forget, you can watch live games, NFL RedZone, NFL Network, and more on NFL Plus on mobile. Let's get to the panel of 10.